Do I have my headset hooked up? Yes. I've got everything hooked up. Okay, there we go. We've got it hooked up. Oh my goodness, so many technical difficulties this morning. But I'm really glad to be here. Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. I've sorted through all the technical details. Here we are. The stream has started. I hope you're having a great Friday morning. And note to self, when you're trying to do a stream, best to plug in the camera before you get really, really frustrated and you're like, why isn't this working? Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was just funny. Okay, I'm looking for a specific blog post this morning. Where is it? Basically, I want to talk about my Parkinson's diagnosis story. I just can't find the blog. Oh, here we go. I think I'm on the right page now. That I want to talk about this morning. And I hope you're having a great Friday morning. I'm having a wonderful Friday morning. I'm on a little bit later than I thought I would, just because I forgot to plug the camera into the computer. I'm like, why isn't this working? What is going on? I started and deleted like probably 6 or 7 streams until I looked and the camera was unplugged. I'm like, why did I unplug the camera? I don't know. But anyhow, okay, so we're here to talk about my Parkinson's diagnosis this morning. I hope you can hear me and see me okay. Okay, where did the stream go? There is the stream. There is where I'm gonna, okay, so I'm going to copy this and pin this in the chat. If you can't hear me, please let me know. If you can hear me, please just say yes. I just want to make sure it's working before I get carried away. Please confirm you can hear me. Okay, and so I've pinned the blog post in the chat that we're going to talk about today. And I'm just going to go there now. Basically, how I was diagnosed, like what happened, what was the whole process behind my diagnosis story. It's always fun to talk about. I like to talk about it sometimes just because it brings back so many wonderful memories. Oh, those were good times. Good times, weren't they? Trying to figure out what's wrong with us. Fun, 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 fun. Okay, so how I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Hi, I'm David. I'm 44 years old. Okay, I live in British Columbia. Back in May of 2017, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The type of Parkinson's I have is more movement-related than tremor-based. I do get tremors, but mostly when I'm nervous. For example, if I'm recording a video, I'll often notice them because speaking in front of a camera makes me feel kind of anxious. There we go. My microphone's connected now. There we go. I knew that there was a problem. So yeah, we're just talking about the blog post I pinned in the chat, how I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Hi, my name's David. This is our weekly broadcast. This will probably be it for this week, and I'll be back later next week. I'm going hunting for the weekend, and then we're getting our windows replaced on the 12th and 13th. So I don't think I'm going to be back till the 14th, but that's okay. If I can squeeze a day in there, I will. Basically, because this is what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to chat about Parkinson's disease, anything at all under the sun, anything related to Parkinson's disease. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, throw it in the chat below. And if not, I'll just continue on with this blog. Okay. The type of Parkinson's I have is more movement related than tremor based. I do get tremors, but mostly when I'm nervous. For example, if I'm recording a video, I'll often notice them because speaking in front of a camera makes me anxious. Even after 8 years of content creation, I still get nervous in front of a camera. I don't understand. It's got to be related to the Parkinson's, right? Right? On a day-to-day basis, though, tremors aren't my biggest challenge. For me, stiffness and rigidity are the main symptoms that affect my life. Okay, yeah, that was back definitely when I was diagnosed and when I made this video about my diagnosis story. Now my problems are quite different. My biggest current problems are Parkinson's and protein, like the protein interaction with the levodopa. And then I would say food. Food is a never-ending battle. Not trying to eat food, not like overeating, is eating enough. Eating enough is my biggest problem. Okay, so earliest signs before my diagnosis. When I look back, I can see that the first signs of Parkinson's were showing up in as early as 2012 or 2013. At that time, I had no idea that's what they were. I just thought I was dealing with work stress, getting even older, or maybe pushing my body too hard. Or maybe, yeah, like aging out of my career. That's what I really thought I was doing. One sec. Okay, struggling at work. I worked as an overhead door technician, which is a very physical job. It involves lifting heavy garage doors, carrying equipment up ladders, and working with lots of small nuts and bolts and components. Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember one of my first symptoms really clearly. I was on the job with a coworker I spent a lot of time with, and I kept joking to myself, "Come on, left hand, come on, left hand. You can do it." My fine motor movements in my left hand just weren't working the way they should. Something as simple as screwing on bolts or handling tools felt awkward and clumsy. Even today, I still struggle with some of those movements. Yeah, especially when I was up a ladder and I was trying to put a couple little nuts and bolts in the tracks. Oh my goodness, it was so hard. Cognitive struggles. Around that time, I also noticed changes in my memory. Later, I was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, which basically means my brain still stores the information, but it just takes longer to pull it out, like trying to open a sticky drawer. Back in 2013, it showed up in a stressful situation at work. I was second in command at my company, so when my boss, who was also a close friend of mine, was away, I had to step up. Usually that wasn't a problem. I'd make decisions, handle what came up, and keep things running until he returned. But this time was different. Oh, it was very different. I was faced with a tough decision, and instead of managing, I completely froze. The stress became overwhelming, and I didn't know what to do. In the end, I actually had to call my boss at his hotel in another country to ask for help, which was extremely embarrassing for me because I'd handled tough situations in the past. Even if it always wasn't the exact same choice he would make, I got through them. But in this case, I couldn't. That was one of the first big red flags, not just for me, but for my family too. My wife was so concerned she even spoke to her dad, trying to figure out what was happening to me. Physical progression. From 2013 onward, the physical symptoms got worse. I was constantly trying to figure out what was wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Somebody figure it out. It was very stressful. I remember being at work one night. I got a call out in the middle of the night, at midnight, and my wife came with me to Whistler, and I was working on this parquet door, and I was trying to put these two pieces of a contactor block back together, and my hands would not do the work. It took 2 to 3 hours to finish that job. That was a 1-hour job normally. That was definitely very frustrating. I was like, why can't I put this back together? I was constantly trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Was it just my work wearing me down? Was it aging faster than I should? I was only in my late 30s, 37, 38, 39, 40, so I shouldn't have been struggling this much. I tried everything I could think of, changing my footwear, changing my clothes, getting massages. A massage would make me feel better for a few hours, But by the next morning, it was like nothing had happened. That was incredibly frustrating. Most of the problems were on my left side. It started in my hand, then spread to my shoulder, down my leg, and into my foot. My left shoulder became especially difficult to manage, and in my line of work, that mattered a lot. Winding springs, which involves a lot of overhead arm movement, became painful and awkward. I used to joke that I had spring binding syndrome. Deep down, I knew something was going on. It was just, it was just hard to admit it. I think that was the biggest thing at that point in my life. Like I was just used to doing everything all the time, so that it was hard to believe, like hard to admit that there was something wrong with me. Eventually, I even developed a limp in my left leg. At first, I thought it might have been connected to an old injury on my right foot, where I'd had 3 surgeries, but that didn't make sense. If my right foot had been injured, why was my left side the one getting weaker and stiffer? At that time, none of it added up. I just knew something wasn't right. Loss of smell and vision problems. Up to this point, I hadn't experienced tremors, which many people associate with Parkinson's, but my sense of smell started to fade. My wife or coworkers would comment on odors I couldn't detect. That was really strange, like being at a garbage room door and my boss or one of the people I was working with going, "Oh my God, it stinks in here, Dave." I'm like, "Really? I can't smell anything." That was really, really strange. Smells of garbage, propane, paint, or other strong scents, and I couldn't smell them. It was subtle at first, but consistent. Or I'd come home and my wife was making a turkey, and she says, "Do you smell that? It smells so good." I'm like, yeah, it smells good, honey." In 2015, I began experiencing vision problems, like temporary double vision. It wouldn't happen all the time, but in certain situations, the doubling could last 2 to 3 minutes. Blinking or closing my eyes helped, but it was another unusual symptom that added to my concern. And yeah, something strange about what the vision problem was, like I wasn't wearing glasses, but I had reading glasses. So I couldn't see it properly when I was like on a lot of work sites. So I would put my reading glasses on and then I could see properly and like walk around like my eyes were corrected. Like how could reading glasses like correct my vision? That was really strange. In 2016, I started noticing emotional changes. Yeah, so did my family. Stressful situations at work became harder to handle. I would lose control in conversations or become emotional over small things. Deep discussions with my wife sometimes led to crying, something that had never happened before. My routines became extremely important. If a schedule changed, even something minor like walking the grocery aisles differently, I would become upset or disorientated. My memory was also affected. I began forgetting details about my children, conversations with family members, or even recent events. Yeah, that was weird. Like I remember driving to like a work site and like being like, where am I going? Trying to remember where I was driving to. That was really weird. In October 2016, oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to end the stream. I'm going off like really fast here.